Rachel Green and Apple have something in common. They both made me look rich while quietly making me broke. I thought my shiny iPhone and $900 purse proved I'd made it. What I actually made was a $23,000 credit card balance. And a lie I kept telling myself in the mirror every morning. And if you're a woman, you're probably telling yourself the same one I once did. In this coffee confessional, I'm sharing that trap that so many women fall into when wealth becomes performance and your life starts looking more like a Rachel Green highlight reel than your real story. But here's the twist. Real wealth, it has nothing to do with what fits in your hands and everything to do with one certain spot you probably don't spend enough time in. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, maybe it's from Central Perk, and let's catch up on today's coffee confessional on Lady Boss of Finance. Let me ask you something a little personal. Have you ever bought something just to feel like you've made it? A handbag, a MacBook Pro, the newest iPhone. Not because you needed it, but because you needed to be seen with it. I'll go first. I have mine right here, a $900 MCM purse from Saks Fifth Avenue. One of Rachel's favorite places to shop, by the way, both when she was a waitress at Central Perk and after when she quit her waitress job to work at Ralph Lauren. And like her, I had no business being in Saks. But I wanted to get things to show that I belonged. Where? In my elevator going into work with my Sunday morning brunch girlfriends. But here's the thing, Rachel Green and Apple are selling us the same thing, not stuff, status. Rachel made coffee shop jobs look couture. Apple makes debt feel aspirational because Apple isn't selling devices, it's selling identity. That's why a scratched up Dell feels like failure and why a sleek MacBook makes you feel like a real creative. And here's the crazy thing. It's also why when some of Rachel's old sorority friends were in town, what does she do? She panics about being just a waitress. And I fell for it too. But today, I'll show you how I got out of it and how choosing my future self over Rachel's wardrobe and Apple's ecosystem, man, it was the wealthiest decision I've ever made. And more importantly, I'll show you how you can do exactly the same thing without ever giving up your avocado toast or your lattes. I was working at a fancy commercial real estate company in downtown LA. It felt like Bloomingdale's meets the finance district. And on paper, I was killing it. Just like Rachel when she finally landed that job at Ralph Lauren. I worked in the kind of office where millionaires and fresh college grads rode in the same elevator. Where image, it was not optional, it was currency. I had just moved into a gorgeous apartment in Studio City, and man, that whole neighborhood, it just felt like a reward for making it. I did things like go with my mom to Cabazon outlets to load up on discounted designer pieces, new life, new wardrobe, and I was playing the part flawlessly. But the truth was quieter, more shameful. I was already in debt, but there came a moment when I saw her. A $900 MCM purse at Saks. And I swear to you, when I saw that purse, something both surprised surprising and unexpected happened. I didn't see me. I saw the woman I wanted to be. Confident, polished, rich, and I bought it. And for a moment, it felt like I finally earned a seat at the table. Until I logged into my Chase Freedom account and couldn't breathe. I had racked up $23,000 in credit card debt. I wasn't building wealth. I was buying validation. But people loved my look. They loved this cute little purse. Compliments. Man, they were coming left and right. And I'll never forget how one Christmas, my stepsister told me she wished she were me because I worked in downtown LA, because I looked like I had it all. But just like Rachel, when she was pretending to read at work when she's caught snooping through her boss's office, I was faking it. Every compliment, it wasn't about me. They were about the version of me I had curated for everyone else to see. And often curated for women I wasn't even friends with. The moment that changed everything, it wasn't dramatic. It was a quiet Saturday morning, coffee in hand, and I logged in to see that final $23,000 balance. And I snapped. I realized I was living for other people more than myself, for their approval, not for my future self, not for freedom, not for wealth. And that day, I printed, right here, see? I printed out my balance and I taped it to my closet. So, I mean, maybe I was, a little dramatic, but hey, let's just be real here, okay? Rachel says how everyone has always told her she's a shoe.
You're a shoe, you're a shoe, you're a shoe. And then today I just stopped and I said, what if I don't want to be a shoe?
And let me tell you, shoe or no shoe, I started gamifying debt repayment. I put sticky notes right here, right next to my computer monitor, and every time I paid off $1,000, crumple it, I'd write a new one. And every time I wanted something new, I would ask one question. Is this for me or for the woman I'm trying to convince others that I am? And that question changed everything, because that was the shift when I went from a consumer of products to an investor in them. I started investing slowly. I wasn't exactly sure what to do. And I did that even while paying off debt, because debt repayment takes care of your past, and investing, even $5 at a time, that takes care of your future. And every time I saw that tiny amount grow, something new clicked into place. Rachel's wardrobe couldn't do this. Apple's upgrades to the latest phone couldn't do this. Only ownership could give me this new feeling. And this new feeling of what it's like to become wealthy, I didn't want to give that up. And if that sounds like a feeling you want, here's 3 small pro tips to give you that real and rich life. Pro tip number 1, start a 5-minute daily financial check-in. Choose the same time daily and just check in on your account balances and just look at your recent transactions. If any upcoming irregular expenses are coming up, like a vacation, track that in something as simple as a notebook. Why? This small habit fixes the root cause of financial avoidance while building awareness. How does this get you rich? This small habit builds financial mindfulness in a slow and steady way. And that slow and steady mindfulness is exactly what ends lifestyle creep. Pro tip number 2, automate savings using the pay yourself first method. The day after you get a paycheck, Schedule an automatic transfer of just 1% of your paycheck into a savings account. Ideally, it'll go at least in a high-yield savings account so your money grows. And if 1% feels like too much or math is involved, start with $25. Why? Automation removes emotion and friction from wealth building. How does this get you rich? You make consistent progress toward your bigger life goals without relying on willpower. And even $25 per paycheck, it adds up fast, especially if it's out of sight and out of spend. Pro tip number 3, create identity-based spending stories. Say it with me. I am someone who builds wealth. Say it with me one more time so your neighbors can hear you. I am someone who builds wealth. Then act like it. Pause 24 hours before buying non-essential things that cost over $50. Why? This directly addresses the psychological drivers behind all those spending decisions you would do to look rich but keep you poor. How does this get you rich? You address and fix that emotional and social part of your spending, which creates long-lasting change that gets better and better over time. And when you feel temptation knocking on your door, ask, is this for me or for my image? What's our big takeaway? Looking Rachel rich is easy. Being wealthy is harder, but so much better. Real wealth isn't something you hold. It sits quietly in your brokerage account. It grows slowly in your savings. It's boring, it's invisible, and you don't get to visibly show it off. But it also compounds invisibly until one day you realize you don't have to look like you've made it anymore, because you actually have. And that shift from consumer to investor, it changed my life, just like it's going to change yours. If you've ever felt pressure to perform success, just know that you're not alone. I was in your shoes, and you're allowed to want more. And when you want more freedom, more time, more peace. And the next time you see someone showing off their newest iPhone or MCM purse, smile, because you know the secret they don't. You're building wealth and not just wardrobes. Today, we talked about Rachel, and next week, we're talking about Monica. Perfectionist energy, Instagram pressure, and what happens when you run yourself into burnout, and more importantly, how to get out of it. So if you've ever been the responsible one, the one who gets shit done, but you still wonder why you're not rich or why nothing feels like enough, stop by next Sunday because that episode is for you. And if this hit home, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next Sunday on Lady Boss of Finance.